What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pinfalls and Playbooks podcast, episode number 4. As always, I'm your host, Faiz Kabir, alongside my co-host, Pardon Khan. And this week is a brand new week. We're going to be talking about, as we always do, sports and wrestling.
Yep.
But this week, we're going to start with wrestling, because last week we started with sports. So for this week, it was not really much of an eventful wrestling week as compared to last weekend. But we're going to just go through our simple or regular Raw review and SmackDown review.
Yeah, we're on the road to SummerSlam. It's actually in our home turf here at Jet Life Stadium. Notice how I said Jet Life. It's August 2nd and August 3rd.
Yeah.
So it's the first ever 2-night SummerSlam.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of great matches, probably a lot of great surprises. Hopefully.
Exactly.
But SummerSlam is up there with WrestleMania for biggest WWE events.
And this year we're going to have a lot more matches on these cards because they want to stack it up with all the celebrities or who else knows what might show up. SummerSlam is, like you said, just like the WrestleMania.
Big Apple, so it's a lot of stuff going to happen.
Exactly. So first we're going to start off with the Raw recap. So this week's Raw recap, I believe the show started with introducing the new WWE Women's Champion, Naomi. They had a nice little promo back and forth. Naomi was out here acting heelish, trying to make herself feel more established. Yeah. What did you think? Do you think it was she was being a little cringy?
It was definitely cringy. I'm not a real fan of this, what is it, proceed with caution type thing? Like come on, man. She's been wrestling for, what, almost 15 years, basically?
She's been here for a long time.
And she's going from some colorful, like, persona to this, like, dark. I get it, it's a switch up for sure, but I just feel like she needs to be a little bit less dramatic when she speaks. Like, oh, what did she say? Something about one step ahead now, bitches.
Yeah,
like yo, that was
I don't know.
Cringe.
It was just getting cringe to me.
Yeah.
And I like Naomi, and that's the thing. Like, she's obviously a good wrestler, and she has a good superstar, and she has a good.
Has she ever won the title before?
Yeah, she's won SmackDown titles and stuff, but she's been champion before. But it's like this is the first time I think she's won it as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's gonna try to play up that heel persona, but it was safe to say, like, it looks like it's gonna be it is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So pretty much it's like they're doing this WrestleMania match
without
again.
Bianca Belair.
Without Bianca Belair, you're switching out Bianca with Naomi. Obviously, that's a big drop off.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, what's a little like disheartening about it is the fact that they just doing a recap of WrestleMania just with somebody else, and on top of that, we're kind of robbed from another great matchup between Io and Rhea. Granted, she was the Money in the Bank.
No, I get it.
But I feel like we needed another one-on-one match. I feel like
that match was so good.
It really was good. But the thing is, I feel like they should have did a number one contenders match instead of just jumping to a triple threat match.
I know, but like, I guess it's like maybe because they felt like they didn't have enough weeks to build to the show.
Yeah.
I think literally it's next week.
2 weeks, actually.
In 2 weeks, right. So, and the thing is, you got to build to the show, and obviously you're going to have Rhea on that show. You got to have Io Sky, who's been getting more and more popular as the week's been going. And people are literally recognizing her as one of the best wrestlers in WWE in general.
Right,
and I'm glad to see her finally getting that shine, and we're going to get that triple threat. I'm pretty sure I don't know, maybe is this Naomi's going to be one and only run? Like, is it over after that?
It should be, yeah.
You think it should be?
I think it should be
like
because, bro, she's not going to be a great champion that the people want to see constantly. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. We have, I don't know if you consider Tiffany Stratton a heel, but I think she's more of a face now.
Yeah.
But you kind of always have that heel face championship.
No,
even though right now we technically have 2 heels in the men's side with Cena and Gunther. But I feel like Rhea should win it back. Will she? I don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know either. But that's pretty much for the women's scene. That's what it's looked like they're heading towards. Actually, this Raw started off with a lot of women. I think the first hour was just a lot of women.
Probably because of the feeding off of the Evolution
pay-per-view. It literally felt like Evolution 2.0 when Raw started. Yep. And next we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Roxanne and Raquel.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that match? It was just
I think it was just a filler match. Yeah. I'm not sure where this tag team division is heading on the Raw side. We obviously know what's happening on the SmackDown side with Charlotte, Alexa
Bliss. Which they're going to be challenging Roxanne, which is the good way to go. We'll talk about that when we get to the SmackDown
I don't know.
review.
To be honest, I don't know how to feel about a Charlotte and Alexa. I feel like they should just do their own thing. I get it. There's nothing for them solo-wise at the moment. But to have them be a tag team, I'm not a big fan of it.
I like it because honestly, it's bringing Charlotte. People are starting to like her because of this.
True.
And that's because like obviously people never like Charlotte. She's just never gonna be like a baby face.
Yeah. She never really was.
Right, but that's the thing with characters like that. The people that are always heels, once they finally turn to something else, people just gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
And prime example is we're gonna talk about the main event. The guy that came out, he's a prime example of switching his character made him become even bigger.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much for the tag teams division. Next we had Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. They put on a show.
Yeah, that was a great
really
match.
great.
It was one of the best matches of the year.
Lyra Valkyria, Bayley, they went back and forth. Lyra weekly continues to prove how she's literally one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE. She continues to get better, and they're pretty much setting it up for her and Becky
Lynch, yeah.
at SummerSlam. And my opinions on that is they're 1-1, I think.
Yeah.
Now I think Lyra's gonna get that win.
You think she's gonna win?
Yeah, I think she's gonna get that win over Becky and then solidify that she is like one of the top stars in WWE because Lyra's gonna. I feel like Becky is now at that point in her career where
she's just gonna be like the upbringing.
Right, she's gonna be just like her husband Seth Rollins, like help the other talent get to higher places. Lyra Valkyria is one of those people that's gonna get to those better places. So I think that's gonna be her role going forward. Next, you could touch on the IC title.
The men's IC title.
The men's IC title.
So if some of you don't know, it was supposed to be a title match at Night of Champions. No, Crown Jewel? No, Night of Champions. Night of Champions between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Obviously, there's stuff going on in the Middle East, and Dominic Mysterio felt uncomfortable going. So as a result, they kind of postponed the title match between him and Styles. So now he kind of, I guess what WWE did was give him like this side thing where I guess it's more of like an excuse rather for him. It's just but he's basically medically unfit to defend the title.
That's the easiest way to do it when you're a heel. Like, oh, you're just avoiding the challenger.
Right.
It's the oldest book in the playbook. Like you just literally like, oh, medical excuse, whatever it is. So basically, what it is, they were just pushing this match until SummerSlam.
Yeah. So there was a backstage segment between the Judgment Day and Adam Pearce. And in the background, after the fact, we could see AJ Styles praying to God.
That was pretty funny.
That to make Dominic Mysterio medically cleared, he was like, please God, I just want this title match. And then Dominic Mysterio was like, no God, I don't want this title match. At the end of the day, I think AJ Styles probably going to end up winning.
You think AJ Styles is going to win the title?
I think he's going to win the title because I feel like they should give him one last hurrah for as long as he's within the company, you know. I don't think he's going to be in the main event scene anytime soon because of whatever's going on. I agree. I hope he does too, but I think he's fit for the IC title.
Of course he is, but the thing is, he never won it also.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I just want to quickly tell you, AJ Styles, we're recording this on Monday, right? Monday Night Raw. Yeah. So yesterday was TNA Slammiversary, which was TNA's like biggest pay-per-view of the year. AJ Styles made a return back to TNA. AJ Styles started in TNA. Basically one of the TNA's best talents ever. Mm-hmm. Came home, just a nice little ovation. It was right here actually in Elmont in New York. And it was a good little event where AJ Styles was just basically making a presence to give like thanks to TNA, basically like show up and make them feel like, okay, I'm still part of this TNA family. But people thought AJ Styles was going to wrestle on that or anything like that, have any involvement. Not really. AJ Styles kind of moved on from that past.
Did he fight anybody?
Oh, nobody. He was just out there for a promo. That's it.
I got you.
He was just there to like pretty much like thank TNA for like everything and bring on whoever's the new guy in the division. Whoever would like they have an X Division champ, which is their IC title, and pretty much AJ Styles was like their best X Division champion. So whoever won that title, he was like 20 years old.
Damn.
So AJ Styles kind of like promoted him, be like, oh, this is the next guy up. He's the next AJ Styles, basically. So that's what TNA brought him in for, which is fine because AJ Styles is now in WWE. That's his career, and like you said, he might win the IC title. So let's see how that goes. It might be good. I hope he does win. If he doesn't win, then at that point you gotta start thinking of things for him to do next year going into his final year. You have to, because you got to give him at least a good run.
Yeah.
Based on the career he has, not just in WWE, but all other in wrestling in general. So I hope AJ Styles does get that recognition that he deserves, whether it's this year or into starting.
He kind of deserves it for sure.
For sure. And then I believe next we go into Rusev and Sheamus. They had a nice. They're gonna. I don't know how long they're gonna keep doing this. I feel like they're just literally doing nothing with them. They're just making these guys go back together or then fight each other. maybe be a tag team.
I feel like WWE's in a stage right now where they're doing certain things that's gonna open up doors, hopefully. And Rusev and Sheamus, maybe they'll become a tag team again. Right. I don't know, but it's just, I guess, unsettling that Rusev came back and they didn't really push him for anything. No. He had that shit with American Alpha, with Otis and Tozawa and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Sheamus is just Sheamus. You know, he's just gonna come.
Sheamus is a made guy. Like, he doesn't need to do anything anymore. Like,
they both kind of proved themselves already. Right. You know? It's just more of like getting a storyline for them that's not between the both.
One thing that this kind of did remind me of is, remember back in like I believe the late 2010s and early 2020s, we had Sheamus part of another team with Cesaro, The Bar.
The Bar.
Remember The Bar? They were a good team.
That was a great team.
That was a great tag team, and they put on some good matches with other tag teams. This could be something like that. You could have a Rusev and Sheamus go on a tag team run, and they're literally hard hitting dudes. Like, that would be their gimmick.
Who's the Raw Tag Team Champions?
The Raw Tag Team Champions is, I believe, isn't it the
Judgment Day?
Judgment Day, because it's Finn Balor and JD. Finn Balor and JD, like, we don't.
They're Irish guys.
Yeah, they're heels. Yeah. But like, I guess Rusev and Sheamus, like, what they join together, they'll be a babyface group because Sheamus is just so much over. Yeah. That Rusev will just join him and then just become a babyface team. I think that'll work perfectly fine for that. So I think that's the direction that should be for Rusev and Sheamus. Just become a team, go after the tag titles. Next, we had the Gauntlet match.
That was the main thing for Monday Night Raw.
40-minute Gauntlet match.
That was so sick.
Great match. We started off with Braun Breaker absolutely destroying the competition. Braun Breaker started from the beginning. I believe he started against Penta.
He beat Penta. Then LA Knight.
Then he had LA Knight. Yeah. And then we had
Jey Uso,
and then we ended with CM Punk.
But the thing was, there was so many interferences. Bronson Reed played it a part to it.
So my question is, I didn't know gauntlet matches were no DQ.
Was it kind of,
because like Bronson Reed was literally involved in half of it. Like, I didn't know gauntlet matches were no DQ. I don't know if they ever like made that official, but whatever the case is, Braun Breaker was running the table, taking out all these guys, and then we got to CM Punk. Yeah. So obviously Gunther was watching.
In the suite. Yeah,
he was in a suite watching it. It looked like they were teasing a Braun Breaker and Gunther match,
which would have been great too. Yeah,
that's gonna be great. I don't think they're gonna get to that point yet. Yeah, they're gonna wait till Breaker breaks off from that group and then gets onto that main event scene by himself. Yeah, I think that'd be perfect for Braun and Gunther, just to have their own little feud.
Did they ever fight in NXT?
They fought in NXT. So Breaker, so like they fought in NXT. I believe Breaker did beat Gunther in NXT. So they do have a little history. I don't know if they should recognize it in WWE when they get to that. But I think that feud is going to be saved for next year. I don't think it's going to be now. So we have Gunther taking on CM Punk. CM Punk, obviously, it's with CM Punk, he's got to be a big factor on the show. And if he's not doing a main attraction singles match, the only other thing you could put him in is the title match. Yeah. So we have CM Punk versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Most likely it might be actually main eventing night one.
I agree, yeah.
So if you main event that night one, we can talk about now the rumors about Seth Rollins. So the rumors about Seth Rollins is that injury is not as what they make it up to be. So what I mean by that is Seth Rollins is claiming he was on a Rich Eisen show. Yeah. He was a guest host on the Rich Eisen show. Immediately addressed the issue. The way he was talking, it made it seem like it was a work, because he was just like, I'm going to be out for a very long time. Like, it just didn't seem like...
It didn't seem genuine?
Yeah. I think that Seth Rollins is probably injured for a little bit. I think he's rehabbing something. But I don't think he's going to be out as much as people think he is. So one thing that I think might happen is we could get a cash-in at SummerSlam.
Possibly.
And the only reason I say that is because what did Seth Rollins say before anything ever happens? He said he will die before CM Punk wins the world title. And it lines up like, oh yes, Seth Rollins gets hurt, CM Punk gets the title match.
So do you think Punk wins and he just cashes on?
I don't even think he wins. I think Gunther wins? I think Rollins could just come in and make it a triple threat, and then just capitalize by fucking curb stomping Punk and winning the title.
You don't think he'd cash in on like Cena or Cody?
No. For what? He has nothing to do with them.
That's true.
And That he has nothing to do with those guys anymore. It's literally on the Gunther, because he's literally been talking to Gunther every week before he even got injured.
Mhm.
It's clearly on the World Heavyweight Championship that he's aiming for, but it just depends if this Seth Rollins injury is legitimate. And maybe they might not do it at SummerSlam. Maybe they do it at Clash at Castle in Paris. Like, they could do it then. But the thing is, I feel like Seth Rollins' injury is more hyped up than it is, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as serious as WWE is making it out to be. And you never know. Like, they've done this game before. They did it back then when John Cena came back in 2008 at the Royal Rumble, where he tore his pec. They claim he tore his pec.
But I thought he did, though.
He did, though. But, like, in reality...
It wasn't as, like, extended.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, a torn pec, you're out to 6 to 8 months. He came back in 2 months. He's not the Wolverine.
No.
Like, he can't heal like that much faster. So all I think that is just they're doing a trick where they're saying, like, oh, they're injured, and they're saying it's this many months. But come on, it's wrestling. They can come back whenever they want. If they're really not injured, they just build the storyline around it.
That's true, yeah.
So I think that's what might be happening. But let's talk about at the end of the show where CM Punk was getting beat up.
Yeah, so what happened was CM Punk won. Obviously, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, they felt the type of way because he won. They came out, they tried to beat his ass. Then Jey Uso came out. Jey Uso tried to help CM Punk. Numbers game because CM Punk was already hurt. Bronson Reed is going to go for his infamous tsunami. Then we had arguably one of the best returns of the year thus far. Our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, came back.
Yep.
He Superman punched Bronson Reed, and then he started taking out Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he basically defended him off, and there was a standstill where he helped up Jey Uso, but he didn't help up CM Punk. Maybe there's some bad blood there. Obviously, they never really got along, even though
they were in the
up in Survivor
WrestleMania
Series.
main event.
It's more on him helping his cousin out, which rightfully so, he should. What's next for them? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. So that's the thing. Like, they could go the easy route and just do a tag team match. They could have Jey and Roman versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
I could see that.
That could be the easy option to go. But my opinion is SummerSlam's 2 nights now. Why don't you separate them and make them singles matches? They're more compelling, I think. Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns.
That's already automatic.
That's automatic. Like, that's going to be like one of the second to end last matches of the show. You can have Jey Uso and Bronson Reed in the middle of the show. That's not a bad match. They can put on a decent match too. So if they want to go that route, they could go that route.
I think it might be more of like a Raw match for Jey and Bronson, and then Braun and Roman a standalone match.
Right, but then it's going to look kind of silly though. You can't have Jey Uso not on SummerSlam.
That's true. Well, I think they most likely probably do.
Then you do the tag team match. That's the thing. If you don't want to give Jey a single match, you do the tag team match, because you can't have all of MetLife Stadium not eating. The WWE of course wants that visual.
Yeah.
So Jey Uso is definitely going to be on the show. It just depends literally on him if WWE decides they want him to do a single match or they want him to do the tag team. But either way, I'm glad to see Roman Reigns. He's scheduled to be on the next 2 Raws, actually.
He's going to be on tonight, yeah.
He's going to be on tonight on Raw. He's going to be on next week's, and he's going to be at SummerSlam. So I'm glad to see him back on the show for now. I believe he's going to leave again to go film Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So also Cody Rhodes, he's going to be going to film Street Fighter too.
He's in the movie too?
He's in the movie too.
Shit, good for him.
So let's see what happens with that. But that was the Raw recap, and it was a good show.
It was great, yeah.
It was a really good show. Nice show. A lot
of things expecting to happen tonight. We'll talk about it next week.
And it looks like for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be filler.
Yeah,
we're getting to SummerSlam. That's all it's going to be. And let's quickly go on to SmackDown. SmackDown, I don't think SmackDown was as great of a show as Raw, but it's SmackDown because, like, I feel like, I don't know, for some reason, SmackDown hasn't been hitting as much as it used to. And
I feel like more of the shows, because it switched to Netflix, that...
Well, yeah, they give more attention to it.
Raw, yeah.
But SmackDown, that's where a lot of our mid-carders are. That's where a lot of our tag teams are, too. And the big thing we had was the John Cena return, so we'll talk about that when we get to the end. But first, we want to touch on quick things on SmackDown, because I don't think it's really worth going through every single thing. We could talk about Carmelo and Damian Priest. They had a nice little match. They were having a good match when it was going on, but Aleister Black interfered. So it looks like we might be heading towards a Aleister Black and Damian Priest match at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
Those guys are great wrestlers. Damian Priest has been looking actually more menacing. He's been doing like this I don't want to call it like a persona, but he's been doing this thing where he's been getting like where he's been getting really angry.
Yeah.
And the announcers are like playing it off where he gets like really angry and then he starts like doing like hard hitting moves, and it looks good on TV. So I think that'd be good. You have Aleister Black dark, mysterious heel. I think those guys are gonna have a good match. You could touch on the Fatu and Solo.
Yeah, so Solo Sikoa. So what's funny is there was a hit and run at the beginning of the show.
Right. You can talk about the hit and run thing.
So somebody hit Solo Sikoa's car, or
right. Somebody
hit their car, and there was like a whole investigation with where were they, in San Antonio?
They were in San Antonio.
There was a whole investigation with the San Antonio PD.
These guys are clowns.
They came out. They started to question Jacob Fatu. Oh man, Jacob Fatu was like, "Yo, not this shit again." I was like, "Yo, these punk ass police."
He's not ready to deal with the cops.
He didn't want to deal with them again. So basically, Solo Sikoa came out. He was trying to figure out what happened, but he was saying how Jacob Fatu, he could take him out whenever he wants, this and that. Then we see Jacob Fatu come out from the police escort or whatever. He come out and try to kick everybody's ass. He did end up beating, but obviously there's a numbers game because there was, what, 4 of them?
Yeah.
Solo, Tama, and
No, not Tala. It's Solo.
Tangaloa, right?
Yeah, no, so it's Solo, Tangaloa, JC Mateo, and Tala Tonga.
Right. So obviously it's a numbers game. Big Jim ends up coming out. He tries to help fend them off.
Right.
Eventually they do. And then Adam Pearce came out. He said that on SummerSlam it's going to be a steel cage match between Solo and Jacob.
And the thing is, the whole point of steel cage is to keep people out, but it never does. That's the whole point of steel cage matches. So there's going to be interferences. And that's where we might get new bloodline members that might appear. We might. And I don't know, maybe Solo might win that match again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But we got to talk about how
Solo got arrested.
Dude, the evolution of Solo Sikoa's character is hilarious.
He went from like not being able to do his promos to actually doing really well for his
I wouldn't
promos.
even say that. He went from like being the silent enforcer originally.
Yeah.
Then he went to basically being the captain, the tribal chief, he was calling himself. And now he lost his Jacob Fatu, which was in his enforcer.
Ulafala, sorry.
The Ulafala.
Yeah.
Then he lost Jacob Fatu, and now he has his new group. But he's just been so like hilarious with his movements, with his mannerisms, everything. Just Solo Sikoa, he gets it. Yep. Now he knows like he can be the idiot heel, and it works for him because like obviously no one's gonna like us, the WWE fans are never gonna view him as the actual tribal chief.
Right,
We're not, but he's playing pretend
at
this point. And it just makes it even more funnier that he's like playing this pretend game and it's just being hilarious at the same time.
And he ended up getting arrested. Why did he get arrested?
So he got arrested because they're insinuating that he faked and organized all of this himself just so he can get Jacob Fatu arrested and away from him. That's why. That's why it makes it even more funnier.
Man. He went into the back. We see him get arrested. He's asking Cody Rhodes for help. Cody Rhodes is like, nope, I don't want any part of this.
And the funny thing is, like, why would you ask Cody Rhodes for help? And Solo looked shocked that he wouldn't help him. He was like, what?
Wait, he was beefing with him and he's asking him for help. Like, oh, come on, man.
Like, I was like, that's what made it even funnier. I'm like, you go to Cody Rhodes, who you've been tormenting for 2 years, and literally. You look shocked when he said no. Dude, Solo Sikoa is too funny. I love it. And then we can go quickly into the tag team match. So I believe the tag team match was a 4-way tag team match. A lot of action, a lot of guys. Like, I feel like this year they might give, since SmackDown's tag team division wasn't on WrestleMania's card, I think this year they get a chance because remember on WrestleMania the Raw tag team champions, New Day was on the show. That's why they put that match on there. But I think SummerSlam, you give the SmackDown titles a shot. You have the Wyatt Six on the show. They're finally getting a push because we barely see them on TV. Yeah. And what was the point in having this group if you're not going to do anything? It sucks. Like I know like the group would have been way different if Bray Wyatt was here.
Yeah.
Like it would have been completely different. Everything would have been different if he was still here.
We're missing Luke Harper.
Well, he passed away. But he went to AEW though.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. But like. For that, I think it's going to be the Wyatt Six versus Andrade and Phoenix. They threw these guys together. I feel bad.
They could make it work.
They could make it work because they're both luchadors. They both obviously been in tag teams before, so they can make it work together. And I hope that match is on. If I don't know, see that's the thing. Like I don't know if that match is even going to be on SummerSlam. It might be on the SmackDown before SummerSlam because they're doing the SmackDown before SummerSlam in Newark, so they might have big attraction on that show to do a SmackDown tag team match. And hopefully, if they're not on the SmackDown show, then you put them on SummerSlam, because then you get Andrade and Phoenix on the show. They can literally show out and show why they're one of the best wrestlers in WWE. Because on their own, they're great. It's just they don't get enough shine. Because Rey Fenix is great. Ever since they brought him in, we thought he was going to do something good. Because the thing is, they brought in his brother earlier, Penta.
Yeah.
Penta's been established. People know who he is. People know what he does. Rey Fenix, he doesn't have that yet. And that's just from the lack of not being on TV.
Right.
So I think with Andrade and Phoenix both being paired up together, it could benefit them. And then we'll get to the main event, which was the John Cena and Cody Rhodes contract signing. This was a shit show. That's the easiest way to say it.
It was supposed to be a contract signing. So Cody Rhodes came out. He was obviously preaching whatever he preaches, saying that John Cena isn't a great champion. He signed the contract, and John Cena comes out.
All right.
Now John Cena gets into the ring. He sits down. And he didn't do like any like fan taunting or anything of that caliber.
Yeah.
But he was saying how he can't be at SummerSlam. Like, bro, there's no way you're not going to be at SummerSlam.
Because
it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Literally, because like, what was he say? He was claiming exhaustion from doing all the tours and
the movies. Yeah.
He was playing the Hollywood diva. That's what he was playing.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, I can't do this. He ends up getting out of the ring, leaving, and then Cody was like, I'm not going to take this shit. Yeah. He runs after John Cena, starts attacking him. They both start attacking each other. Ultimately, what happened was Cody Rhodes put John Cena onto the table that the contract was on.
Right.
He took the contract, went onto the turnbuckle, jumped, and basically flat out laid out.
So unnecessary. Why did you need to grab the contract?
Then he took John Cena's hand, made it seem as if he signed the contract, and then he told John Cena that it's going to be a street fight at SummerSlam.
Okay, so two things. One, in reality, that contract is voided, because you cannot have somebody sign a contract when they're unconscious, technically. Yeah. But it's WWE, so like whatever. But then now it's two, street fight. Okay, so let's digest this real quick. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania was a bad match.
I don't want to cut you off. I feel like they need to bring back certain matches. Like, I haven't seen the Last Man Standing match in a long time. I haven't seen the I Quit match in a long time. I haven't seen a Falls Count Anywhere match in a long time.
Right.
I feel like WWE needs to at least give that. Like, I get street fight, it's no disqualification. Yeah. It's basically no disqualification. Anything goes. They're just gonna call it a street fight.
Yeah.
But they need to bring back all of these. I'm not saying bring back like the Inferno matches, the casket matches. Obviously, that's not really family friendly anymore.
Well, that's not part of their characters either.
Yeah. So I feel like they should have done like a Falls Count Anywhere match, an I Quit match, or even a Last Man Standing match. Yeah. They both fit the character for that.
They do fit that, but the thing is, it depends on how much John Cena wants to work.
That's true too.
So, it's also based on his availability and eligibility to even do it. So
his physical capabilities.
Exactly. So street fight. Okay, well, I wanted to say that the WrestleMania match was dull. It was bad.
It was like a regular SmackDown.
Exactly,
Raw match.
And it was bad. So they needed a stipulation for that. They're going around again. They added a stipulation. John Cena, the last two matches he had were actually pretty good. He had it with Randy Orton and CM Punk, and those were good matches. Now we get back to Cody Rhodes. Now we're gonna find out either they just don't have chemistry, or it was just lacking stipulations where they can make this match more interesting. So I don't know what's gonna happen in this match. We don't know if we're gonna have interferences.
Travis Scott.
There's rumors of Travis Scott. There's rumors of The Rock always. Rock is always lingering. We don't know what the rumors are. However, it depends on how this show goes. We obviously know that John Cena's tour dates are coming to an end. And I don't think WWE is going to make him retire as a heel. He's going to turn babyface eventually. Is this the night where they do it?
The double turn?
So that is what the basically has been going on.
What do you think would be do you think, now I'm going to give you a bold prediction as to what will happen. I could be wrong, obviously.
For now, leading up to the show, we still don't know, but for now, we think,
My main, I guess, prediction is going to be The Rock does come back, just for one night, and he basically was siding with Cody this whole time, and he G's John Cena, and ultimately becomes the corporate heel, you know what I mean?
See, that would be the way to do the double turn. So my thing is,
you think, what if The Rock comes out? John Cena thinks he comes out to help him instead. but he's actually helping Cody. You see like a smile on John Cena's face.
I get that, but my thing is, I don't want The Rock to be involved in this.
Okay.
Because what did he do? He did nothing.
Yeah, he just was like
the thing is, like, Rock's gonna come out for the big pop, and that's it. Like, I'm tired of seeing and having storylines dependent on him. It doesn't need to be like that. I think the most simplest way to do this is, obviously, in every match we've seen John Cena contemplate before hitting somebody with the belt. Always. I think this time
it's going to be more permanent because
exactly.
It's a street fight,
but this time, I think he actually might stop himself, drop the title, and try to do it the clean way. And I think Cody takes the title and hits him with it. And obviously, people are going to be like, "That's legal. It's fine."
But you don't think the fans are going to cheer for that?
So that's the thing. They can either cheer for it, or they might be hurt because it's John Cena. Like, everyone's going to still cheer him no matter if he gets booed.
Yeah.
So people are going to be like, you can immediately switch it. If Cody Rhodes hits John Cena with the title, Cody Rhodes already has been getting boos.
Yeah. He
grabs that title and he hits John Cena with it. I feel like fans are automatically going to switch and they already going to know what's happening. Like, oh, the corporate baby face finally is not being what he needs to be and becomes a heel and hits John Cena with that belt. And you look at John Cena can look up at Cody Rhodes and be like, I thought, like, looking at him like we're going to fight clean. But it looks like Cody Rhodes decided he's going to do whatever it takes to win that title and take it away from John Cena.
There's going to be a lot of kendo sticking, a lot of steel cheering.
Let's see what happens.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. It's going to be obviously the main event of night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see if there's interferences and if there's not interferences. But I feel like there has to be. There's going to be so much. You already know the ref's going to get bumped. You already know what's going to happen. Like, the thing is, like, we already know what the recipe is going to be. It just depends on how we get to it. Is this the night where John Cena loses the title?
Is Pat McAfee going to be on the top?
No, Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee's gone. He said he's going to take a long break he's just burnt out from doing other stuff. So Pat McAfee, and also football season's coming up. He's not involved when football season comes up.
I feel like since it's SummerSlam, I feel like why not? Just for 1-2 nights.
He could for 1 night or 2 nights, but it looked like from the recent interviews he's just been saying that he's burnt out.
Over it.
Doesn't see himself coming back right now. So that's pretty much what we're setting up towards SummerSlam. We have another few weeks build up to it, so we'll see what's going on with those. And that's pretty much it in the wrestling recap for this week. Like we said, it's all building to a SummerSlam. When SummerSlam comes around, then we're going to have our big show. So we're excited to see when SummerSlam comes up.
Yeah.
And that's it for our wrestling recap for this week. All right, this week in sports, we're going to start off with the MLB recap. We just recently came off the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. Yeah. So I'll let Noah start off with the Home Run Derby.
Yeah, so Cal Raleigh won it. He was actually the favorite. A lot of people actually won a lot of money because
he was hitting bombs.
He was hitting bombs, yeah. My man O'Neal Cruz, I think, hit a home run 513 feet.
Yeah.
It was one of the longest home runs hit at the Home Run Derby. I don't want to be the one to talk about sports betting, but FanDuel actually offered people a chance to pick the winner, and on top of that, earn free bets as to how many home runs they hit. So Cal Raleigh, he won. If you bet Cal Raleigh for $10, I think he would have won like $25.
Okay.
People also won $54 free to use, which is crazy. I've never seen FanDuel do this before. So credits to FanDuel. But yeah, Cal Raleigh did win it.
Right.
I picked Byron Buxton. He did all right. I got a little scared in the first round because he was hit. I think he hit like 10 with like a minute left. Eventually he came back. He made it to the second round, but he didn't end up doing well.
I think I had James Wood. He was out in the first round.
He was out in the first round. But overall, it was a pretty good home run derby. I'm not a real fan of them like speeding it up because they get tired, bro. You keep swinging and you swinging. Like, it takes a lot out of you. And
but the thing is, like, speed it up because there's so many contestants. So why have all these contestants then?
That's true. You
don't need that many contestants. But the thing was,
they had, in the original format, they had 10 outs. And for everyone that wasn't a home run, it would be an out. So it kind of was like a win-win situation. But you add time to it. I get it. They give like a timeout in between, when you could take it whenever. But they need to go back to the old. This one was better than the last few years, for sure.
Right.
But it's still like tiresome to the players, you know what I mean? Now, leading up to the All-Star game, the NL, they won the All-Star game. It was actually, we thought it was going to be a blowout in the beginning. I think NL went up. Yeah, so NL went up, I think, 5-0. The AL, they chipped away eventually. It ended up being a swing-off. This was the first ever swing-off in All-Star game history. Now, what a swing-off basically means is the managers from both sides, they pick 3 representatives to do home runs to see who can hit, I guess, I wouldn't say the most home runs, but the most cumulative home runs between the 3. So from the NL side won. Kyle Schwarber was actually the one that won it for the NL. He had 3 straight home runs. So I guess what they did was they get 3 pitches in a row, and you get to see if you could hit the home runs or not. Now, I'm going to talk about Aaron Boone real quick. Aaron Boone had an opportunity to put Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh, and Byron Buxton in the swing-off.
Right.
Bro, he went with Brent Rooker. I forgot who else he went with. But he did not go with any of his top stars.
How did he not go with his own boy?
I don't know. Man.
That made no sense to me.
Like, yo, you have arguably the best hitter in baseball in Aaron Judge and the person who has the most home runs on your team in Cal Raleigh. Like,
literally, who's hot off of home runs.
Exactly. And he was in the home run derby. Like, yo, you didn't want to give him an opportunity? Come on, son.
It made no sense to me.
Like, bro, you
at that point, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, I just don't think he doesn't care.
But Kyle Schwarber ended up winning the home run derby for the NL. And one thing I want to touch upon real quick is the ABS system, which is the automated ball system. They actually were doing this in spring training, and it was working. These umpires, they're terrible. First of all, there's certain umpires, I'm going to name like Laz Diaz, Bruce Streckman, Mark Wegner, whatever his name is, bunch of other people. Bro, they have no idea what they be doing. Ball be out, they call it a strike. Ball be in, it's not a strike. Make it make sense,
I don't know, man.
But the ABS system was implemented in the spring trainings. Basically what happened was the pitcher, the hitter, and the catcher are the only 3 that are allowed to use. It's basically a challenge system.
But like, how many times can you do that?
So the pitcher, the catcher, and the hitter, they both get, all 3 of them get 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but they can't use it at the same at bat.
Okay.
So if it's 1 per at bat, basically, there was a pitch that Tarek Skubal threw to Cal Raleigh that the umpire called a ball. Clearly, it was a strike. So you tap on your head to basically challenge it, and it turned out to be a strike. I'm telling you, this is going to put umpires in a very tough situation moving forward once it gets implemented. I feel like they should have implemented it for this season. The games would have been a lot different if this ABS system was like around.
Like that can low key fuck around and fuck up a game.
I'm telling you, it's good because it's calling a fair game. Like, why is a ball getting called a strike, and why is a strike that's clearly a ball getting called a strike?
They implemented the coaches challenge in NBA, and look at how that plays out.
This definitely needs to be implemented, and I hope Rob Manfred does his duty and gives the opportunity maybe next season. Obviously, he's not going to be around for this season. It's definitely going to be utilized in spring training again next year. It's just the fact of
just make it
official for the season. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of games where it's going to be scored differently, different at bats. You might see something. I don't know. I feel like they should do it eventually. Now getting into the NBA. Not a lot of crazy news happened. The biggest thing that happened was Damian Lillard going back to the Blazers. How do you feel about that?
So Damian Lillard, obviously, he's injured he's out for the whole year. The Bucks pay out his contract. He signed back to Portland.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $42 million, basically a 2-year deal.
He wanted to go back to Portland because he wanted to be with. I guess that's where his family grew up, and it seemed like from what sources are saying that his family missed Portland, and it makes sense. He's probably the greatest trailblazer of all time.
Him and Clyde Drexler,
Great, So I think that Damian Lillard, he could do what he wants. Obviously, he can do whatever the hell he wants. And for Damian Lillard, I guess it kind of solidifies that, not trying to be detrimental to his character, but he doesn't care about winning.
No.
He wants to make his money and go home.
Yeah.
That's what I got from this. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. Like, a lot of players, you want to play to make a lot of money and do what you love to do. That's fine. You don't need to win if that's your prerogative. Obviously, sports is about winning, but some players don't feel like that. And to me, it made it feel like Damian Lillard was going to go back home, rehab, where he feels happy and comfortable to do it, and make $70 million a year while doing it, because he's getting the money from the Bucks and he's getting the money from the Trailblazers. So I think the Blazers did this just so they can mend that relationship and just have
him retire a Blazer.
And have him retire as a Blazer. That's fine with me. Let's talk about Bradley Beal to the Clippers. So the Clippers also signed Chris Paul today.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Like, yo, you have a team that would potentially was going to be a super team in the mid 2010s, late 2010s. Like, but now they have Chris Paul, who's like almost 40. Bradley Beal, who's trash now, to be honest with you. He can still play, don't get me wrong. James Harden is getting older. Kawhi Leonard is getting older. But they got Brook Lopez and a couple of other players. This is like a team. If this was built in like 2015, well, they could have won like 4 straight championships.
Right. But let's see, the thing is, I know a lot of people don't like when these old teams team up together. I feel like it's different with this core because we've seen how they were with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. They were good, just they couldn't get over that hump.
Is Ivica Zubac still on the team?
Zubac is going to be their starting center. So from what it looks like, the lineup is going to be is Chris Paul, right? I think
James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum, and Ivica Zubac.
Right.
That's the oldest team in the league, bro.
It's most definitely going to be the oldest team in the league. But I think these guys can make it work, especially with Chris Paul being there just to facilitate. That's going to be his job.
No, I think what's going to happen is Norman Powell? No, he's on the team.
Norman Powell's still on the team.
He's still on the team?
Yeah.
No, I feel like he signed somewhere else.
I don't remember.
Okay, we got to fact check that. But
I don't remember.
If Norman Powell's still on the team, it's going to be James Harden, Norman, Kawhi,
Chris Paul's going to be off the bench.
And then Zubac. And then you have Paul and Brook Lopez.
Like, let Paul run that bench unit with the younger guys
with
on that
Brook
team.
Lopez.
Because they have Derrick Jones Jr., who's a good 3-and-D player. So I do think that
they have a solid team on paper.
On paper, they're better. Yeah. They're the best team in LA.
Yeah.
In California, technically.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
They're technically on paper better than the Warriors too, like on paper. But let's see how they go. They obviously have Tyronn Lue too, which is a big factor.
One of the best coaches in the league.
Exactly. So they could make noise this year. We'll see how it goes. And then another thing I wanted to quickly touch on is we've been hearing more and more talks about league expansion. So it looks like we might be having a league expansion sooner than we think. Might be actually implemented next year. Most likely what it's going to be is we're going to have 2 teams added in the West, and we're going to have 2 teams that are already in the West move to the East Coast because you got to even it out.
Yeah.
One of the number 1 destinations that people have been talking about that sports has been going to is Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely
that should be a number 1. That should be kind of basically a given that it's going to be a
team if they do the team league expansion, they're going to go to Vegas. Yeah. You go to Vegas, and then obviously Seattle is where people's been clamoring for sports to come back to Seattle.
Yeah. Because you think they're going to revitalize the Sonics?
Yeah, it's going to be Seattle Supersonics. It has to be because one, I don't know if you know, but like Seattle has a lot of hoopers out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ball players out of Seattle. Their basketball scene up there is very good.
We have Gonzaga and Washington.
Washington, all those schools are very good up there.
Yep.
And I think that you go to the Seattle Supersonics, you have them, and you have the Las Vegas, whatever they're going to call them.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have 2 teams that need to move to the East Coast. If you look at the map, the 2 teams that I'm about to mention, they're technically in the East.
Yeah.
If you really divide the map up in America. So you have one, which is New Orleans Pelicans, and the other one is the Memphis Grizzlies. I think these 2 teams would actually benefit a lot from being in the East.
I agree.
Because one,
it's less travel.
Also, it's not even about that. It's like winning games. Memphis wins games in the West, but their games compared to the East Coast,
and the Eastern Conference is I wouldn't say it's more winnable in the East than it is in the West at this very moment.
And if you have Memphis that moves to the East Coast, depending how their team looks in the next 2 years, because their team looks a lot different now, but Memphis can easily become a team that can be in the top 3-4 seed.
If they build around the team right.
And then you have New Orleans. New Orleans is always all over the place because it's all dependent on Zion Williamson.
The health of Zion Williamson.
Zion Williamson, when he's healthy and he plays, he's a top 10 player in my eyes when he plays healthy. Zion Williamson can easily make their team, and with the new picks that they got, and with all the new signings that they had, if they move to the East, they can also be a top 8 seed in the East too.
Yeah.
So both of these teams, I think it would work out for both benefits.
It'll benefit the both of them.
And
for sure.
2 new teams in the NBA, who wouldn't like that?
It's more money for the business at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Especially in Vegas. Oh man, don't even get me started with that.
Exactly.
What would you call the Las Vegas team?
The Las Vegas team. So right now we have in the WNBA we have a Las Vegas team. They have the Las Vegas Aces. So
you're not gonna call them the Spades or
I feel like you gotta capitalize on the Vegas thing, the gambling aspect. So you gotta call them something.
Las Vegas Dealers?
The Las Vegas Dealer or the Las Vegas I was gonna say Kings, but we got a Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
So you couldn't call them. See, I don't know. Like, it's got to be something where you can capitalize. Maybe like I don't know.
We'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. But like Las Vegas definitely is an easy opportunity for an NBA team to grow from there. And people are talking about LeBron James wanting to own a team. So LeBron James owning a team in Las Vegas.
Yo,
I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be the biggest money machine, better than Jordan when he decided to own the Charlotte Bobcats of all teams.
So that's pretty much the news in NBA that we have so far this year. It's pretty quiet still. We're gonna get a lot more news when we get closer to the start of the NBA season. It's coming out sooner than you think. So always stay tuned for that. Now we're gonna go to NFL, which is exciting. I believe training camp started today.
It did, yeah.
So that's very exciting. That's great news because one, that means
football is our favorite sport. We just can't wait for football season to start. It's like the months, like I get it when preseason starts. It's like it feels a lot better for me because I know that football, in my opinion, like I'm just saying this humbly, is I feel better about myself when football is around, to be honest. Like I feel more confident, you know. Granted, my team is the Jets, which I'm going to touch upon shortly, but it just feels better that on a week-to-week basis, we have so much to talk about, so much to discuss. And I can't wait for it to happen on the podcast because it's about to be August and in a couple of weeks. We're going to start with preseason. We're going to see how the rookies are, how the vets are. Obviously, we're not going to see, you know, Patrick Mahomes play a whole preseason game. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all the big guns, you know. We're not going to see them play as much. We'll see them do like 1 or 2 drives or whatever.
Just to get the feel.
Yeah, for sure. But obviously college football is going to be happening. We'll touch upon that throughout the season.
Yeah.
The main thing that I want to talk about as of right now as a Jet fan is our top 2 dogs, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. They both just got the bag. Now, Ice Spice also just got the bag because apparently Ice Spice and Sauce Gardner are a thing. I don't know how true that is, but we've seen them in videos in different locations.
It's been quiet now recently, but
I just saw a video of them in Lake George or whatever. Fans were, I guess, asking him how he felt about the contract. He felt happy. Garrett Wilson also felt happy, and I'm grateful for that. We do have these 2 guys. They both signed 4-year extensions, over $100 million each, rightfully so. I hope that the Jets, they don't fail them. You know, we'll see how it goes with Justin Fields. I'll touch upon Garrett Wilson in my sideline he'll take in a little bit. How do you feel about it?
Garrett Wilson, great receiver. Sauce Gardner, one of the best DBs. I think it's all for these guys. One thing I want to touch upon them, it was very apparent last year. Their production is based on motivation.
That's true.
100%.
Yeah.
You can obviously see as the season went on, both of them started to lose motivation about carrying.
Yeah.
And that is going to
be... I think it's just the Aaron Rodgers effect. But granted, he's not there anymore.
Right.
And Justin Fields is he's playing with his old quarterback.
But I don't think that's fair to say because when Aaron Rodgers signed, those 2 were the happiest people when he signed.
Yeah, the cheesehead, you know.
I don't even want to hear that. They're young guys.
Yeah.
They're factored by emotions. They want to win because they always been winning in life. They never been on the side where they're not winning.
Right.
So now when they're going through it, I don't want to see them lose motivation, especially when they know they just got the bag too. It's time to like basically produce. Sauce Gardner had a great rookie year. He was off to a great start. Next year came around, he just did not. It just looked like he didn't care.
Slowly started to diminish, and then last year it just, I don't know.
Exactly. So I think these 2 are going to have a big bounce back year, in my opinion, or else I think a lot of people are going to not take him seriously.
Yeah.
Especially if they just sign this contract.
I think the fact that is the great thing is we quieted out the noise. Not a lot of people are talking about this. I guess what the biggest thing that they've been talking about, from what I've seen, is the top 10 list for certain positions like quarterbacks. Right. A lot of people are saying, why is Jalen Hurts so low? I think he was number 8 from what I saw in the ESPN rankings. Now,
that's pretty low. I'm not going to lie. I think that's really low.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You could intertwine Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, 2 and 3, right? Joe Burrow. Who else would you have up there?
You would definitely have...
You taking C.J. Stroud over Jalen Hurts?
No. That's the thing.
You wouldn't take C.J. Stroud?
Jalen Hurts is a winner.
That's true.
Well, like
Matthew Stafford.
That's the thing. But the thing is, like, I feel like people are just discounting winning. Like, Jalen Hurts wins games.
Okay, but you got to think about it like this: if you swap teams with Jalen Hurts and another player, bro, it'd be the same type of production.
I don't think so. You put C.J. Stroud on the Eagles, I don't think they would do the same.
What?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Because Jalen Hurts rallies teams. He rallies the team.
Yeah, but C.J. Stroud is a great leader, bro.
Okay, we haven't noticed that yet. How can you prove that? Like the Texans did what? They didn't do nothing last year.
Yeah, but look at the team that he's on. The only thing that the Texans have better than the Eagles is maybe DBs in the back for their defensive team. But if you swap team, I'm telling you, bro, the Eagles will probably be better. I just feel like I'm not discounting Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. I had him on fantasy last year. Thank you, Jalen Hurts. But at the end of the day, like
I need to see a lot from. I'm not gonna lie. I need to see a lot more from C.J. Stroud this year. Like
I agree,
because that's the thing. Like people hyped him up so much, and mind you, he had a great rookie season. But after that, it was he had injuries. He had other people get injured. But now people are coming back full health. I don't want to hear anything else. Like C.J. Stroud needs to produce because guess what? You have another young gun who outplayed him, and that's Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
who is
I'm taking. Would you take Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts right now?
No. See, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of crazy to say you have a second-year player that's better than.
It's all about the production, though.
Jalen Hurts won you a Super Bowl. Like you can't say
Jalen Hurts really did. I'm not saying he won you.
No, I'm not taking this Jalen Hurts. I don't even like the Eagles.
I don't like the Eagles either, but I just feel like based on production, I'm taking all of those quarterbacks over him.
That's so fucked up.
How? Are you taking Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, Herbert hasn't won. He wins nothing.
That's true.
Herbert does not win.
Are you taking Stafford over Hurts?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay. Who else is there? I'm taking Hurts over Brock Purdy. Taking Hurts over Sam Darnold. I'm taking Hurts over.
Obviously, he's going to be.
Are you taking Jared Goff over Hurts?
Yes.
You're taking Hurts over Jared Goff?
Because Jared Goff he's the example of a player that's made by other people. That is Jared Goff. I still think
he's overrated?
I still think Jared Goff is overrated from day one.
Okay.
But that's why I think Jalen Hurts. I just don't like the Jalen Hurts slander. Like I don't, and I don't think it's fair to him. I just don't think it's fair to him because people he won because of Saquon and the O-line and the defense. But
it's true though.
But guess who gets AJ Brown the ball? Who gets Devontae Smith the ball? Jalen Hurts gets them the ball and gets them the money. He's a team player because he's getting everybody paid by winning. And you win and die by your quarterback.
That's true.
And Jalen Hurts leads that team every single year. And I hate the Eagles. Mind you, I do not like the Eagles at all. But I can't sit here say that Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 NFL quarterback. I think he's at that number 5 spot.
Okay. Right.
And
I understand where you're coming from.
And the thing is, like, maybe I'm coming off because he just won a Super Bowl, but Eagles again are favored to win again. And that's not and it can't be just because of Saquon Barkley, even though we know he's the best offensive player in the NFL. But that team is also that's what I was gonna say. I think the Eagles favor more Jalen Hurts than Saquon, and that's because Jalen Hurts is gonna drive that team. Everybody revolves around that team around Jalen Hurts. I think that's how it's gonna be. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. So that was from the big list because I think people were really debating was Jalen Hurts. I think we saw. I don't even know where Dak Prescott was on that list.
I think he was number 7.
I think Dak Prescott is also overrated.
I think he was higher than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, see, that is actually messed up.
That's a little fucked up. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like this Jalen Hurts slander, I don't like it at all. But it's all going to be based on how they go into this year. These top 10s, they basically do this every year just to get people riled up and talk about it. And I feel like every sports media, they always do that. But that was for the top 10s. But also, I want to talk about T.J. Watt real quick. He got paid. He was the highest paid non-quarterback player in the NFL. Rightfully so. Best defensive player, I think, right? I think he's the best defensive player in the league. He got paid like one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I think he definitely got paid like one. I can't name anyone better than T.J. Watt, to be honest. Dude, think about how many sacks he gets every damn year.
That's true.
And it's actually insane how many sacks he gets. And I'm happy for him.
You think he's better than Myles Garrett?
I think he's better than Myles Garrett because TJ Watt, I think he also gets more tackles in general.
That's true.
Because I see Myles Garrett and when I watch Myles Garrett play, he charges the QB, but once he gets stuck, I feel like he freezes in frame. So at that point, he's not going after the running back or whoever or the tight end that's in the flat. I see T.J. Watt always around the entire field, to be honest. So that's why I think T.J. Watt gets that money because it's obvious he puts in the work.
Right.
And T.J. Watt, is the best thing about the Steelers, to be honest, in my opinion. So I think he deserves that money, and good for him. Like, good for the Watt family in general. Like, they're just putting a better name to the J.J. Watt, which I think T.J. Watt might end up being better than J.J. Watt when it's all said and done. So good for them. I think now I'll quickly want to touch on a few issues that the NFL has been having with a lot of their players recently when it comes to the law. So I'll let you quickly talk about Rashee Rice.
Yeah, so if some of you don't know Rashee Rice, I think last year or the year before, he got into reckless driving, basically. He was going 119 miles per hour. He was driving a Lamborghini. I get it. No, you're in a Lamborghini. I think he got obstruction as well.
Yeah.
So the Texas judge ruled him for 30 days in prison and 5 years probation.
Right, and I think he can do that 30 days, like, whenever.
Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is I think the NFL is going to end up suspending him, and he's probably going to take his time right then and there.
You think that's how it's going to be?
I think bro, he's probably going to be suspended 10 games, and that's 10 weeks, bro. In 30 days, it's just 1 month.
So, like, I don't know. I think...
listen, at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to play this season in the regular season. I think he should just get it over with.
But in my opinion, he's their number one receiver for the Chiefs, right?
Right now, yes.
So that it depends how much the Chiefs want to win. And this is why I'm going to say this, because Rashee Rice can do this whenever. He can do this next year if he wanted to.
But the NFL is still going to suspend him, though.
They haven't yet. If they did, they would have.
I think they're going to end up doing it.
If they don't do it,
then they're ass kissing the Chiefs, and I'm telling you that at that point.
So that's the thing. If Rashee Rice doesn't get suspended by the NFL, obviously the Chiefs are not going to do anything about it because they know he can do this. He can do this time after the season.
Yeah.
So the only way that this happens if he doesn't play is if the NFL steps in. But that's to be determined, because sometimes the NFL are good at these things, sometimes they're not. So let's see how it plays out for Rashee Rice. I want to talk about the rookie, Quinshon Judkins. Dude,
we had high hopes for Quinshon. We still do. Don't get me wrong.
If he gets signed, he hasn't signed with anybody.
He hasn't been able to because of his
But no one wants him. He
got drafted by the Browns, though.
They didn't sign him.
Oh.
Because remember, you can get drafted, but you have to sign a contract. After this hell came out, they didn't sign him. So that means the Browns literally lost a draft pick because of these issues. They don't want somebody on their team because of domestic violence issues with girlfriends. And the annoying part and the sucky part is, this is a very common theme that we see in NFL players, is domestic violence issues. It all stems from, I don't know what this, I was going to say, like, I don't know where it all stems from. It's a lot of, I just don't like that.
It's a lot of hoopla.
But I just don't like how NFL players are being associated with aggressive. Like, yeah, you're already aggressive players because you play in the NFL. That doesn't mean you carry that out into your personal life.
Right.
You keep that stuff, like aggression, you need to keep them maintained. You're an NFL player that's making millions of dollars. There's no need for you to go out here and do stuff like this. Especially with Quinshon Judkins, knowing that he was a top player coming out of college. He was going to be signed. He was going to be on a team where he was going to get minutes no matter what, because he's a valuable player.
Yeah.
But now, because of this incident, he's not even signed with the team. And now he has to figure out what's going to happen with this, whether he does time, whether he has to pay fines, whatever it is. I don't know what the outcome of it yet. I don't know if they released an outcome yet, but that's the issue. Another thing I want to talk about that's very common in the NFL, DUIs. Jordan Addison, great receiver, I think, for the Vikings. I think he was a good player for the Vikings last year.
Yeah.
And now the Vikings are going to get JJ McCarthy. They need weapons for a rookie. Like, I know he's not a rookie, but like, he's going to be his rookie year.
Yeah.
So they need weapons. You can't really sacrifice weapons. Jordan Addison, DUI, you got to get your shit together. I just don't like seeing NFL players take away money from themselves, because you work so hard your whole life to get to the NFL, and then you let stuff like this get in the way. And it's just kind of depressing to see that stuff, whether it's personal issues, business is business. You keep it as business, and then other stuff you got to somehow differentiate. I just hope that NFL players get better at this, because day by day, year by year, it looks like that NFLs are getting more and more bad rap players, and I don't like to see that.
No,
and
it's becoming a different generation now.
Yeah, and it's taking money away from them.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like,
yeah.
why do that to yourself?
I agree. Yeah.
So that's pretty much our take on the NFL.
I want to touch on one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Donald Trump, you need to stay away from the Washington Commanders. They just had a phenomenal season, and you're preventing them from having a new stadium because you want them to change their name back to the Redskins, which is offensive to Native Americans, I don't fuck with that. But that's not on me. I don't talk politics. You should stay away from football. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, like the Commanders, they're obviously one of the most promising teams now in the NFL based on their players, based on the production last year.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think they were the surprise.
They deserve a stadium because that FedEx field is disgusting.
Yeah, that's
absolutely disgusting.
A very old field now. So we'll see how that happens. But as we go on throughout the weeks, now training camp started. We're getting closer and closer to the NFL season. We're gonna have a lot more NFL talks, and we're excited for that. And let's just see how it goes. We have obviously teams that are starting training camp. They're also starting OTAs.
We're gonna have the Hall of Fame game in a week or two, or something like that. Excited for that. But football season, baby. That's
always around the corner.
Yeah.
Next in sports, we quickly want to touch on is UFC 318.
It wasn't a spontaneous event, so to speak. It was
exactly
Dustin Poirier's final match. It was against Max Holloway. He did end up losing in decision.
Before we get into the match, I do want to say I did really like how UFC gave him a good farewell. Like, they played out the video packages. They gave him what he wanted. And the thing is, like, Dustin Poirier, he's not I don't think he's ever going to be considered like one of the top 10 or top 5 greatest UFC fighters of all time, but he was very important in this generation to the lightweight division, and I'm glad to see that Dana and the entire UFC gave him that spotlight, his hometown fight against whoever he wanted, which is Max Holloway, because he beat him for the interim UFC lightweight belt. So that was the fight they wanted. But yeah, you can go into their match. It wasn't like, I want to quickly just say, for me, like, it was a great hard-hitting match, classic Dustin and Holloway match, but you can obviously see these guys they don't have it as they don't have.
Yeah, I agree.
You could let me know what you think about Dustin Poirier.
I mean, I'm happy for him. I've always been a fan of his. He definitely deserved the proper send-off. He had Lil Wayne walk out with him in his hometown in New Orleans. It's grateful. Like, obviously, Max, he won the title. He's still the BMF champion. Even at the end of the fight, when he did the interview with Daniel Cormier, he was like, "Nah, this is not my moment. This is Dustin's moment. I'm gonna let him have his word." Rightfully so. He definitely gave him that opportunity, and we all feel happy for him.
Yeah, I think, like, Dustin Poirier, he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
I think he had one of the best knockout powers in that lightweight division, and he had a lot of money fights. He never won the undisputed belt. Yeah. He had 3 chances at it.
He was the interim champ for a little bit.
He was interim champ, which is great. You can still call yourself, like, I don't like how, like, some UFC fans, like, they say, "Oh, interim champ, you're not a real champ." You're a champ. You won because
you have champ in your title, man, or in your name, rather. You're a champ.
I get it. Like, obviously, undisputed means, like, you're the best of that division.
Right.
But at that time, there was no champ. Like, the other champ was away, and then you had, like, Dustin Poirier win because he was interim champ. So I'm glad that he was able to call himself at least a champion once in his life. But he never won really the undisputed fights, which is okay. Like, it happens. Like, sometimes the moments are hard to get over that spot. But Dustin Poirier had a great send-off. He's going to be obviously in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, probably going to be next year.
Probably even next year. And it's a good send-off for him. Next UFC event, we have a pretty good, interesting main event.
Yeah, it's Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev in Chicago.
Which is Chimaev's first match in a very long time.
And bro, the main thing is going to be, we know Dricus has the stamina to do the 5 rounds. Obviously, the main question is going to be this Khamzat. We don't know what his training regimen has been. But if he can stay upright for 5 rounds, I still think he loses, to be honest.
And this is going to be a very wrestling based.
It's going to be a very physical contact type of fight.
But the thing is, we've seen Khamzat throw shots. We've seen Dricus throw shots. So they could do it that route too. I think it's going to be a very good match. I don't know who's going to win. I
think Dricus has the slight edge.
I think for now, Dricus has a slight edge only because he's been more active. Yeah. That's my only reason.
Yeah.
If Khamzat was as active as Dricus, I think Khamzat
Who did Dricus fight last? He fought Sean Strickland.
Sean Strickland, it's just easy. It's just easy work for him. But Dricus, I think right now he has the edge. Let's just see how the weeks go, because we still have a few weeks till that match. But that's going to be a pretty good card as well. It's shaping up. I think their main card is looking very good. I'm not sure about their undercard yet, but main card's looking very good. So UFC 319, excited to see that. Pretty much that kind of sums up the week in sports. Yeah, as like always, we're going to go how we go. We're going to talk about the next week in sports and sum it up from there. All right, guys. Now it's time for the Sideline Heel Report. We do this every bi-weekly. So as always, we talk about controversial takes or anything that we want to get off our chest. So Farden, I'll let you start off with your Sideline Heel take for this week.
All right. So as most of you already know, I'm a huge diehard Jet fan. My Sideline Heel take this week is going to be on Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
I think with the right personnel, Garrett Wilson is the top 5 wide receiver in the league. Number 1, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Jamar Chase. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb. Number 4, A.J. Brown. Number 5, Garrett Wilson. That's just in my opinion.
That's a lot you're missing.
So the only reason why I say this is because the stats are there. With arguably the worst quarterback room in the history of history. When he first got into the league, Zach Wilson was hurt. He had Joe Flacco throwing to him for a couple of weeks. Now, Joe Flacco, he's a
Super Bowl champion.
He's a Super Bowl champion, don't get me wrong. He has the capabilities. He knows the offense, and he made him look good. Don't get me wrong. He made him look really good.
Yeah.
Aside from that, bro, he had Zach Wilson come back. Zach Wilson, we all know, was just tragically a bust. He had Trevor Siemian throwing him the ball. He had obviously people are going to be like, oh, he had Aaron Rodgers. This is not Aaron Rodgers of 5-6 years ago. This is not MVP Aaron Rodgers. Granted, he still put up great stats with him. Don't get me wrong.
He got him the ball.
He got him the ball, but when Devontae Adams came, that production just went down.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, Rodgers is gonna look for his boy, and he's gonna throw to Adams whenever he wanted to. You know what I mean? But he had also Tim Boyle throwing. I get it. He had Mike White. You know, we all had hopes for Mike White.
No,
everybody was on that. Everybody was on. Every Jet fan.
Only Jet fan.
Every Jet fan was on the Mike White hype train, and he did his job. It is what it is, bro. He had, with that quarterback room, 80+ catches per season, over 1,000 yards per season. The only reason why the touchdown production was there was because of the quarterback situation. If you put him,
the Jets really got touchdowns though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If you put him with a top flight quarterback, let's just say, obviously I don't want him to leave, but if he did leave, I would have loved to see him in Los Angeles Charger uniform with him and Justin Herbert. Bro, if you put him with Justin Herbert, easy 100 catches, 1,500 yards, 10+ touchdowns. You put him with any great quarterback, he'll have the same production, maybe better. I can't say that. Obviously, I'm just speaking out my ass here, but I think he's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's crazy.
I think he's better than DK Metcalf. I think he's better than Nico Collins. I think he's better than Tyreek Hill at this very moment. I think he's better than Mike Evans. I think he's better than Brian Thomas Jr. I know he's going to be in the same position probably within the next couple of years, but I also think he's better than Malik Neighbors. Bro, these New York wide receivers, they're suffering, man. I get it. We just got Justin Fields, who I think the Jets should have drafted over Zach Wilson. Well, I'm not the GM of the Jets, but I feel like if with the right quarterback, he'd probably be a top 5 wide receiver. Bro, these New York wide receivers, they're suffering, man. I feel bad for Malik Neighbors. I don't know what Justin Fields is going to do. Maybe he'll be better. Tanner Engstrand, the offensive coordinator, I know he's been working with Justin Fields over this whole offseason. Aaron Glenn made it clear that he wants to make sure that the quarterback room is set. We have a great offense. The defense shows up again. So I just feel like if given the opportunity, bro.
So you're saying if given the opportunity, but right now, how can you say he's a top
I'm saying
5?
It because of the lack of production, bro. He's a generational talent that's not been fully utilized. And if he's fully utilized, he would be in that. So it's more, I guess,
it's the potential to be a top 5.
And I just feel like he has the skill set to be better than all of those guys.
Which I agree to that, but I don't think he's a top 5 right now.
I personally think so.
Because I can name 4 other people that I think are better than him. That are like, we'll take the obvious 3 out: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. Obvious 3. Agreed, right? Then you have Tyreek Hill, which is always up and down because Tyreek Hill.
If Tua goes, Tyreek Hill goes. That's just the simple truth. Because when they had, what's his face, Skylar Thompson and a couple others.
But he's not going to get Tyreek Hill the ball.
That's what I'm saying. If Tua's right, the team is right.
Right.
Same could be said with any quarterback.
It could be. But then you have also, you got to also factor in Amon-Ra St. Brown. How can you not?
Bro, if you put Garrett Wilson on the Lions and you took out Amon-Ra, he'd have the same production, maybe even better, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
But it's just not there though, because this is all like, yes, he could do it, but
it's the offensive system,
right?
though.
But he hasn't done it though. You have Puka Nacua. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Puka Nacua at his size and all the things that he dealt with.
It's not his fault that he's not 6'4", 220, 225.
Well, Puka Nacua is literally like barely hitting 6 foot at this point.
He's like 6'3", bro.
But the thing is, like, he's such a small frame. Garrett Wilson is tall, lanky. Like,
Garrett Wilson's not tall. He's lanky, but he's not tall.
Okay, but people see him more than Puka Nacua. Like, I don't think like Puka Nacua, he came out of nowhere.
That's true.
He came out of nowhere and made a name for himself. Like Stafford, he threw him the ball because he probably saw what he's been doing in practice. He's like, oh, I gotta get this Hawaiian the ball. So Puka Nacua is another one. And then you have a bunch of you do have a lot of other young guys. Like you got the new crew of the Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. Those two guys are very good. Very good players.
It's just they're both suffering like Garrett Wilson.
Well, Trevor Lawrence.
We had high hopes for Trevor Lawrence.
Still do.
Yeah.
I still do. Then you also got Mike Evans, who's always going to be, I think he's always going to be top out there. You can't forget about, people are talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to have they think he's going to have another big year. There's a lot of wide receivers in this NFL that can actually produce a lot. So it's hard competition to say that Garrett Wilson is going to be top 5. It's going to be obviously based on production. And if Justin Fields can get him the ball, I don't know if he will because it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is very iffy.
Listen, we said the same thing about Sam Darnold, and he kind of, I wouldn't say he proved the haters wrong last season. Granted, he had Justin Jefferson and Jordan.
He blew up in the
But he blew up. He did blow up, but he had great offensive numbers during the regular season. So maybe Justin Fields needed to change the scenery from the Bears, going from the Bears to the Steelers, who didn't utilize him. Maybe he needed to be with the Jets and work with his old college teammate, you know?
It could work.
So we'll see how that goes. But that's my sideline he'll take. I'm going to let Fayez talk about his. But before we do that, we do have a fan question.
Yes, so we did have a fan-submitted question. I believe it was a guy named Brian. That's all it was. It was just Brian. So his question was for this week, who is our favorite underrated WWE wrestler of all time? So for me, I'll go first. My favorite WWE underrated wrestler of all time is the Big Red Machine, Kane. I think Kane is so underrated because he was around for so long. He played every single type of role there was. He played comedy. He played the big angry heel. He only won the world title one time.
Just when he cashed in the Money in the Bank.
When he cashed in the Money in the Bank, which was kind of a travesty because
he was also ECW champion.
Yeah, but like we're talking about actually like in the WWE.
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
I feel like Kane is a plug and play character that they could put him in anything and he'll flourish in. Kane, when Kane first debuted, he was so ripped and jacked.
Yeah.
Kane, obviously, like people think about the masks. When you think about masks,
the fire,
the Inferno matches, you think about Kane. Like if I think about a wrestling mask, the first one that pops to me is obviously Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And number 2 to me is Kane.
Yeah,
because his mask is very iconic. And then he obviously had his great feuds with The Undertaker. I guess like you can't really say that he
was great for so long. Yeah. And consistently never got hurt.
Barely ever got
hurt.
And the thing is like that's the key in WWE. Like longevity plays brings, and people notice that. If you're healthy for a long time, obviously fans notice it, but also management notices it, and that's why you get on TV. Kane was always on TV. Growing up, I've always seen Kane on TV.
He was always on Raw or SmackDown. He always had one match. I think he has the most matches of all time.
Yeah, like Kane is up there in a lot of stats actually. If you think about it, he has like probably still the most Royal Rumble eliminations.
Well, Roman Reigns does. Now.
Well, now but like that record he had for a long time.
For almost 20 years. Oh.
And like that's my favorite underrated wrestler of all time.
So mine, I know I might get some hate for it. I'm gonna say The Miz, bro.
Okay.
I think The Miz, he's always had great mic skills. His wrestling skills was a little, obviously that's what kind of warranted to not be at the top of the game. Obviously he had a WrestleMania main event against John Cena in 26? 26?
I think it was 27.
27. No, yeah, 27. Yeah. But bro, just like Kane, bro, he never really got hurt.
Yeah.
He was always available. He did all his matches that he needed. Obviously, he had the tag team with John Morrison. He had Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Alex Riley.
Yeah, Alex Riley.
What else? He had the persona with Damian Sandow.
But you can't forget, like
he's a Grand Slam champion.
He's one of the best Intercontinental champions of all time.
And WWE never really gave him that push to, I guess, be at the top of the level when he had the promo skills.
Yeah.
He has the hot wife, you know, what it is with the small balls, you know, that's a topic for another day.
Okay.
But I feel like The Miz was always around. He just never was given the opportunity, you know? Like, obviously, Vince didn't really believe in him. Triple H now doesn't believe, and he hasn't been around.
He hasn't been a while. I don't know where he's been.
Yeah, but The Miz, in my opinion, I feel like he's won the U.S. title, won the IC title, won the World Championship, tag team titles. I just feel like he just definitely needed to be pushed more, and at the end of the day, like, I can't say that he's should have been at the top, but in my opinion, he's definitely the most underrated, in my opinion.
That's great. So, Brian, thanks again for that question. Guys, keep submitting your questions to the pinfallsandplaybooks@gmail.com.
And comment on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Whatever. And then for me, let's get into my Sideline Heel report. So for me this week, it's going to be wrestling based. I'm going to talk about who's been a very talked about person in the last 2 weeks is Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is more overrated than people view him as. And I know people think that Seth Rollins is one of the greatest workhorses in WWE. That's what they call him. But I have a few things that I want to talk about why I think he's a little overrated. Number one is overexposure. Seth Rollins, I get it. He's been around for so long now that since the Shield days, since him breaking off from the Shield, doing his authority days, and now like him having the Beast Slayer and all these different personas.
Monday Night Messiah.
Exactly. I'm going to get into that. That's actually part of my part two. So, but the thing is, like, Seth Rollins has been consistently featured at the top. I feel like sometimes his push has been like too heavily pushed on us. The thing is, like, when we see that as fans, we get, like, people like to say it. Daniel Bryan was one of these people that always talk about fickle. We are fickle, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
And we are fickle because if we see someone all the time consistently on TV, we get bored. We get fatigued. We want something new. That's what I feel like has been happening with Seth Rollins, is that overexposure of seeing him all the time. Number two is inconsistent character work. And what I'm going to touch on in that is, like we were just talking about, all these different personalities and roles they were playing. They was doing a lot of these different things, trying to get over.
He went from the Shield to the Architect to the Beast Slayer,
exactly,
to the Monday Night Messiah. Now whatever shtick that he's on right
exactly.
now.
And the thing is, the Visionary, we can't forget about that.
Revolutionary.
Exactly. It's just so many names and things that WWE's trying to make him to be that it's just starting to feel like overly theatrical. That's not to basically say based on his entrance or the clothes that he wears, like, and stuff like that. Like,
I need to say something controversial too. I think this Song of the People needs to stop too.
Yeah, and it's getting annoying because like
do you remember that segment with Finn Balor? They just kept singing and
and I was like,
that was messed up. Like,
I just we wanted to hear the promo, but like I'm tired of hearing the Seth Rollins like singing of this inconsistent character work. I don't want to keep seeing it happen because sooner or later he's just gonna be one of those guys where people think is like he went through all these different characters and people were just like, oh, Seth Rollins he was a great worker, but like there's nothing that's memorable. Yeah. And the reason why I'm going to say that is number 3, his failed babyface runs. So one thing outside of the Shield, because the Shield was super over when they were on, but outside of the Shield, I feel like Seth Rollins struggled to connect with the fans as a babyface.
You don't think he was connecting with this new persona now with the song?
But he's not a babyface. He's a heel.
Well, he was technically a babyface.
Right, but the thing is, what he connected with the fans was just a song. But like,
oh yeah,
I just don't think that there was more to it. There's nothing that solidifies him as a great babyface. And one prime example is he had a chance when he won the Universal title. I believe it was in 2019, where it was having that feud with The Fiend, which killed him. Yeah. Because Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, versus Seth Rollins in that Hell in a Cell match is considered one of the worst matches of all time. And that's because WWE did no favors for him the way that match played out. How do you end a Hell in a Cell match in a no DQ? Like, cannot continue. Like, how does that make sense? So, for example, like his his feud with The Fiend, I feel like that hurt his credibility, and basically that kind of killed his babyface run because he was super over when that year started, and people wanted him to win that title. Won the title, and then after that feud, it killed his run. Lastly, I want to talk about his lack of iconic rivalries. So when you're a WWE Hall of Famer, when you're going to be one of the best wrestlers of all time, you always have someone that you can automatically connect his name to. The number one person that kind of pops up to me is Roman Reigns, but
it wasn't like
it's not as apparent as you think it is.
Yeah.
They've had a few matches together, but the thing is, it depends on how they move forward. It sucks that he got injured because maybe they would have went to Rollins and Reigns for the rest of this year in feud. They could have done that, trying to get away from Rollins and Punk. That's another one that you can probably say it is.
That's more recent.
That's more recent, but if you think about it in his career, there's not one single person that he has. Think about it. When you think like people like John Cena, Randy Orton, immediately when you think of a name, their heel, their other opposite comes up immediately. So if you're gonna call Seth Rollins one of the best workers of all time, you can, but I don't think he's as rated as other people think he is. I think he's severely overrated when it comes to having the chemistry with a specific wrestler. The thing is, when you have an iconic Batman to Joker, as we say it, as people like to call it, you automatically help that person. You help each other become one of the greatest of all time. You have Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. You have whoever you name that's a great, you automatically associate a person with them. Stone Cold, The Rock. Like, you throw a person out, you automatically think
Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart.
Exactly. If you throw out Seth Rollins, you have to think about it. It sucks that it's like that. Maybe it's because it's the way that WWE kind of like played with him and kind of like used him. But I think that's the thing. Is his off, and the best way to say is that his rivalries are often good but not great.
Yeah.
And they're failing to hit legendary status.
I agree.
And I don't think he had a single rivalry yet that's hit legendary status. Maybe it could be this Punk and Rollins, but it's been going on for so long that they need to capitalize and put a storybook ending to it. And the easiest way I can say, because people can argue that it's going to be this Punk and Rollins, but here's the easiest way I can solidify that. McIntyre and Punk had a shorter rivalry.
And it was much better.
And it was already much better than their matches that they had.
That's true.
And people can already say McIntyre and Punk, those two can probably be connected forever. And they had not a long rivalry as compared to these two have for so long. So that's my thing with Seth Rollins. I think he's a little overrated. And that's my sideline heel take for this week.
It's not a bad take. I had to look at it while you were speaking. I had to like basically see it from the bigger picture from the times that I've seen it. I totally agree with you.
Right. Like, if you think of it from the outside, if someone tells you, oh my God, Seth Rollins is overrated, I know you're crazy. Like, come on.
You got to see the bigger picture, guys.
Think about it in the bigger picture if you're comparing him to the greats.
Yeah.
If you're comparing him to the greats, you got to put him on a different pedestal than these guys. So that's why I do think Seth Rollins is a little overrated compared to his greats.
I agree.
All right, guys. That is the episode for this week. Thank you guys for joining us. Next week, we're going to be doing episode 5. So stay tuned for that. And as always, we're going to be talking about our recap in sports and wrestling. In sports, we have a lot of things coming up. In wrestling, we're building to SummerSlam. So, as always, stay tuned, guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Take care.